there's I love the way that you portrayed the student there because it gave me a very nice picture of the kind of scenario and situation that you have to deal with. Um, but obviously, the student is expressing a learned behavior. The student has learned that this is how they get what they want by being aggressive, forceful, disruptive, nasty. Obviously, they've either learned that from their classmates or from people in the home environment. Um, a lot of kids at home, they chil- children and teenagers also, they only express what they've learned to express. Every person who is a bully at school has been a victim at home. And so this expression, this outburst, is what they've seen other people around them do in that situation. And the it's all the victim knows how to express because they haven't actually seen any examples of positive communication or positive problem resolution, which is real, um, what I would call intimate discussion, which is a real discussion where you show you care about the feelings deeply of the other person. And a number of things that I did in the conversation. One, I acknowledged the emotional level of the other person's experience. When you see the when you see the dynamic change in their personality, it's really good to acknowledge it. And we've all seen this happen where someone says, "You're angry, aren't you?" And the person's like, "No, I'm not angry." Yeah. And what that does is it not only brings the emotion out into the open, it signals to everyone else in the class what is happening. It's like telling everybody, "Hey, look, this person's lost control." So you're not just talking to that one person. You're talking to everyone who's listening all of the time. So an opportunity. So every problem is an opportunity. The fact that this problem has arisen is an opportunity to explain to the rest of the class what the correct behavior is. Because if she behaved like that in the past, probably she behaved like that because other people lost control as well. I mean, the teacher has to set the example of being the role model of decorum and order, the the classic authority figure, um, which is somebody who is fair and just in each situation. The people will, I mentioned pushing the buttons earlier. The people will search, and I've said this before in our previous conversations. Students will search for your weak points and attack them because in a caged environment, which is what a classroom is, it's not real. It's like a zoo, basically. In a zoo, the animals will fight with each other to establish dominance hierarchies. And a school is very much like a zoo. The animals are caged up and they fight with each other to establish dominant hierarchies. And in the animal kingdom, the most violent and aggressive and brutal animals are the winners. And part of that is expressed within schools. That this attitude is a very socialist attitude. This brutality is evident there. So the it's necessary. See, no amount of teacher training is going to prepare you for dealing with aggressive people. And the art of dealing with aggressive people is the art of de-escalation. Like somebody, it's no different from you're out on the street and somebody wants to punch you or hit you, um, and and it's necessary to not get involved, to not get engaged. Why should you never get engaged in a fight? Because the other person can pull out a knife or a gun and you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a second.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a second. So what's a real fighter? What's a true fighter? The true fighter is the person who is able to navigate and avoid the conflicts. Because from fight training, what's the very first thing that I was taught when I went to fight training was to search for an exit. To search. So the first thing that I learned in fight training was plan your exit. Plan your exit. Never get involved in anything that you can't get out of peacefully. Yeah. So if somebody imagine the students' negative words, their angry vocabulary is a punch.
Mm-hmm.
Would you punch them back? Do you see? You can't go down that road. It's a serious point. It only takes you only have to lose it once to lose it, right? You only have to lose it once to lose it. Like the fighter in the ring, you only have to not pay attention for half a second and you get knocked out. Once you lose control, you show people where the weakness is and they will strike at that point again. Um, and everybody's got a different way of dealing with that. If I remember back to when I went to school, some teachers were friendly but firm. Some teachers were very, very strict. Some teachers were nice, but all teachers needed to have a powerful element of control there. And I would also add to that most people who are teaching shouldn't be, because uh, either A, their personality, B, the environment, or C, the students they have to deal with are in situations that they have little or no control over. So um, what I mean by that is the teachers are not prepared and ready, and the environment is not prepared and ready, or the students are not prepared and ready, and it's it's always a it's always a potential problem there that 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 something can go wrong. The teacher wants to be everybody's friend, but the teacher's got a job to do. And in the modern world, it's really, really dangerous for teachers because um, so many people instantly lose their job because somebody says something, and everybody's scared about the negative feedback that will come because of the situation, especially in the age of social media, for example. So it's really really necessary to be extra careful. I mean, as a teacher in the past, you could do so many wrong things and get away with it. Like teachers could hit the students, for example, and still get away with it. There's no way that in any sane, logical, and sensible society that a teacher today could get away with hitting any student. So so what's the point? The point is de-escalation. The point is to realize that it's not personal, because anyone who's picking a fight will pick a fight with anyone. Right? The girl who's picking a fight with you, well, I mean, she'll pick a fight with anybody. It just you happen to be there. Yeah? You happen to be the closest point of aggression to her. And so she picks a fight with you, because she could just as easily pick a fight with another girl in school, or with a parent at home, or with somebody on the street, or whatever, or somebody in the shop. It's an expression of their personality and their problems. We have to understand that as much as we love and care and respect and have empathy for other people, that their problems are their problems. which is why in our conversation, in our little drama, I said, I really appreciate you telling me that you feel this way. I don't think that any professional should be in an environment where they could lose control. It's not the right place to be for a professional person. Secondly, um, is it important to be perfect? Well, perfection is a very high standard to have. Why are we paid to do the job? We're paid to do a job because nobody will do it for free. Why will nobody do it for free? Nobody will do it for free because it's difficult. So the I am the hypothetical scenarios are dangerous roads to go down. What would you do if blah 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 blah? Um, because I'm not you. So obviously in situations where you get frustrated, I would not get frustrated. At the same time, in situations where you would not get frustrated, I might get frustrated. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have all the answers to every situation, and confusing and difficult and complicated questions exist. So you can't live in fear of negative might turn into more negative, might turn into more negative, might you can't. No, nobody would get out of bed. I mean, that's a, it's a domino theory of negativity that would lead to, you know, oh my gosh, I might hurt my finger and the world would explode or something. I mean, that's the end point. It's an exaggeration, but it's the end point. You're fearing something that probably will never happen. The point is to mirror, if you can, mirror the emotional state of the other person to make them feel comfortable, not to escalate or aggress something. And it it's you can once you have self-confidence, you become in control of yourself. You can step in and out of the mirroring, which is you can be happy and I can be happy and we can both be happy and then I can go right, well, on to the next thing. So the confidence to step in and out of character as and when necessary in conversation, um, and yet still be authentic is extremely important. Um, there are also other strategies that are important in conversation. I definitely wouldn't say that um, I got. I wouldn't describe it as emotional. I would describe it as reflective. I mean, that's just a question of definition, I suppose. But um, it's it's necessary to reflect and acknowledge emotional states in conversations. So I can understand why I can understand specifically why a person who's presenting what appears to be a complete or total or outright lie might cause a person to lose control. But I think it's important to have borders and boundaries. I can imagine a situation where I might snap at somebody if they lied to me, but that's because I can prove it's a lie. I'm safe. Because I know that if somebody comes to me with a lie, I know there's zero evidence. I'm safe because there's zero evidence. If you're confident in your own abilities, you don't worry about what anyone else thinks because that will destroy you. Walking around wondering what other people think is another extremely negative habit. Let's just we looked at negative thinking and negative habits before. Just walking around worrying what other people think will destroy you.
Mm.
Because A, you don't know if you're right, and B, you've got no control over it.
Mm.
Because you'll never know if you're right, because even if you ask someone, they might not give you enough information. So um, it's there's no way to ever know. So we kind of have to live like it doesn't matter very much because really it doesn't. It's good to be a nice person and helpful and progressive and understanding and empathetic, but move on.
Mm.
The most people are living in a past that is unreal. Because, and I'll tell you why, because you're thinking about what other people are thinking with zero clue if they're thinking that or not. The negative dominoes, as I said earlier. One negative thought will lead to another negative thought, lead to now I'm going to worry about this, and this person will say that, and it's something that you have zero control over.
Yeah.
And because nobody has control over it.